What is going on, guys? It's your boy Grave here, and today we will be talking about Kamen Revice Episode 9. Now, before we get into today's video, I do want you guys to know that we do have a Discord, and I do have a Twitch. I stream there regularly, and on Discord we do, at times, watch Kamen Revice, and a little bit of Super Sentai along with it. Descriptions for both will be in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's get on to today's video. Now, the episode starts off with Iki, Sakura, and Gen discussing the situation with Daiji, him being possessed by Kagero. Both Sakura and Gen asking, like, what's happening to him, it can't be him, with Vice chiming in and telling him that he's like this because there's a demon inside Daiji's heart, and that humans are more fascinating than he thought. In the lobby of the bathhouse, they walk out and they see Yukimi reading Boo, and she notices them like disheartened. She asks why they look so sad, and they have to stay positive so that when Daiji comes back, he has a place to go home to. A reinvigorated Gen tells them that he's gonna make this viral video like he usually does, and tells Iki to return Daiji home, with the camera like slowly zooming in on Sakura, which they're building up something for Sakura. In the dead man space, Olteka gives Kagero some stamps so Kagero can make sacrifices for Gief. Kagero agrees, only to shut Olteka and the dead man's up, which pisses Olteka off real bad. Aguilera starts trash talking Kagero, and upon hearing that Olteka gave him another chance, she started asking why. They're giving this pouty face. In this warehouse, 3 people are swindling their relatives to get some easy money, and I gotta say, one of them, in the blue jacket, you can't tell me that's Banjo's jacket, Banjo from Build. That's the same jacket. Like, you ain't sly, I can see that shit. But anyway, Kagero breaks in the warehouse, the room, and beats the swindlers up and prepares a stamp to make a dead man out of. In the Phoenix airbase, Iki asks George if he knew Daiji was evil. George answers no, and that he's probably like this because Iki took the Revice driver away from him, so George gave him the 2 driver to help. Yujiro orders Iki to eliminate Kagero and essentially Daiji before the public finds out, like, hey, Kamen Evil is actually one of Phoenix. George gives Iki the Mantis stamp, and Iki, not wanting to do this, is a little hesitant. Kadoka enters the room saying he's gonna beat Kagero, also telling Iki that while he can deliver the final blow, Iki can't. A Brachio Deadman and a group of juniors appear in the town with Kagero. Kadoka and Iki run off into the scene, with George zooming in on Kagero saying that nothing can escape his eyes, and Yujiro commenting that you're as shrewd as ever. Kadoka and Iki arrive and starts evacuating the citizens, with Iki more focusing on finding Daiji. Both of them transform and fight the Deadmans, with Iki and Vice fighting the Brachio Deadman. Vice, being Vice obviously, starts making Daiji puns, which annoys Iki, but when Vice sees Daiji, he tries to tell Iki. Iki's like, don't make jokes, but eventually gets his attention, like, hey, there's Daiji. Iki runs off after Daiji while Vice takes care of the Brachio Deadman, with Kadoka following Iki, and Vice playfully starts breaking the 4th wall. It's like, hey, I'm gonna beat this guy up. You guys should start using #NiceVice, which I love the way he breaks the 4th wall. I love that about his character. Anyway, Iki and Kadoka lose sight of Kagero, with Kadoka saying, like, hey, let's work together to beat evil together, with Iki saying he's not going to beat his brother, he's gonna save him instead. The Deadman's attack, forcing Iki to use the Mantis stamp, which in turn forces Vice to return to Iki. He transforms using the Mantis Stamp, and this Mantis Stamp is actually based on Kamen Rider Gaim. Kamen Rider Gaim is actually another one of my favorite riders, at least for Heisei Phase 2. If you haven't watched Gaim, I highly recommend watching Gaim. It's really good. Iki and Vice defeat the Deadmans using their remix, which is a giant mantis. Not the best looking one, in my opinion. Back in the bathhouse, George gives Iki a tablet with footage of Kagero beating up the swindlers, and once again tells Iki that Yujiro's orders is to eliminate evil. Iki argues, and Sakura shows up, furious that Phoenix wants to get rid of Daiji, and they should at least save him. Denji gets on Iki's case for not basically doing enough for Daiji, with Vice commenting that Sakura might have a demon of her own too, which, don't give me ideas, okay? Don't zoom in on the camera on her and then say she has a demon. That makes me think she's gonna be a Kamen Rider. But this joke makes Iki tell Vice to stop, and Sakura telling Iki and George that she can't forgive anyone who puts Daiji in harm's way. Back in the warehouse, those three swindlers are tied up and beaten. Like you can see, they look pretty messed up. One of them is begging Kagero to free them, and Kagero's saying, "Hey, we still got some evil deeds to do." With Daiji in the back of Kagero's mind, asking questions like, "Who are you?" Where Kagero tells him that he was born through Daiji's hatred of Iki. Daiji has his back before. He's like, "No, I don't hate him. I don't hate him." But Kagero's like saying, like, "Don't lie. I'm part of you." Kagero, saying enough's enough, breaks the connection with Daiji and then takes out the Rakio stamp, preparing to make more Deadmans. Back in Sakura's karate class, her classmate and her discuss why she started karate, and it turns out she started karate because she was just following her brothers into it. But as she went along with it, she started getting more hooked than them. Her classmate says, "So that's why you're so strong," with her asking, "Does strength make you happy?" Which again, you're giving some time to her. I really feel like they're going to make her into a writer at some point. We then cut to the bathhouse where Iki just finished taking a bath, and him and Vice discuss saving Daiji. And Vice saying maybe Daiji doesn't want to be free. Kagero is his demon after all. With Iki and Vice arguing about the subject. Iki goes into the family dining room where his parents are asking him, "Why you look so sad?" With Iki responding saying he kind of realized he might not see Daiji ever again. With his parents assuring him that you'll find Daiji. Telling the story of when Daiji was lost and Iki found them. Giving Iki some sense of hope that he will see Daiji again. With again saying, "Please save Daiji for us." The next day, the Deadmans attacks with Kagero, telling Daiji in his head that this will be where Iki dies. Then he just stops to like, "You probably can't even hear me." Katka arrives and helps the civilians, with two more Brachios showing up, and they all overwhelm Katka. Iki shows up soon after, demanding Kagero to free Daiji, with Kagero saying that he's long gone, I broke him. This irritates or pisses off Iki, and they both transform, with Vice beating down Kagero like he was laying down this smack on him. Kagero obviously lets him, because saying he can now feel the pain, which means that Daiji's body is now his. Kagero and Iki continue to fight while Iki's trying to reach out to Daiji, but it's not working. Kagero's still attacking Iki, going in on him. Katka then pulls out a new stamp, the mole stamp, and uses it to transform his arm into a drill. Now this drill, like I said, he can use stamps to augment his body to be used as weapons. Like last episode he used the Bata, the grasshopper stamp, which is based on Kamen Rider Ichigo to augment his legs. Now the mole stamp is turning his arm into a drill, and this is actually based off Kamen Rider Amazons. Now I haven't actually watched Kamen Rider Amazon yet. I have been starting watching the reboot, Kamen Rider Amazons, or Amazon Riders, which is on Amazon. A lot of Amazons. But he uses that drill to basically one-shot all 3 of the Brachio Deadman. Kagero knocks Iki down and kind of taunts him. It's like, hey, just so you know, you are the reason why I'm born. And basically tells him how Daiji basically hated him, and how much Iki wanted to be in the spotlight. Which kind of confuses and kind of messes with Iki up. Like, you don't want to be told, like, your brother, your family, is most of his life kind of hated you. Confused, Iki transforms into his mantis form again, which then also forces Vice to come back to him, which is funny as hell. Like, this happens twice this episode where he's like forced back in. I mean, they both transform into the mantis form, with Kagero transforming into his jackal form, and they once again go at each other. Kagero obviously has the upper hand, and he taunts Iki again to attack him, with Iki performing a finishing kick. And then the episode ends, leaving you on another cliffhanger. Wow, they love those cliffhangers. Now this episode really got me confused. Like when did this hatred for Iki start? Like, why can't Daiji be saved? And why the hell are you focusing on Sakura so much? I swear to God, if she's a rider in the upcoming episodes, I will lose my shit. Remember this video, I called it here first. Sakura is going to be a rider. Anyway guys, that is it for today's video. Next week we will be talking about Kamen Rider Revice episode 10. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not going to spoil anything with the preview, but we should be in for a good time. Anyway, if you like the video, please like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Also, look down below for the Discord link and the Twitch link. I will be streaming, probably soon, some games. It is November. We all know what November is. I will be playing some Senran Kagura and maybe some other things. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, any likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys next time.